Resuming debate, the Honourable Parliamentary Secretary to the Minister of Foreign Affairs.
Thank you, Madam Speaker. It is truly an honour to support my colleague from Etobicoke Centre and to recognize his lifelong commitment to human rights. Madam Speaker, I welcome the opportunity to address the House today about Motion M163 toward the appointment of a Canadian ambassador for women, peace and security. It is our government's position that an ambassador for women, peace and security will help to advance Canada's feminist foreign policy and will support our renewed commitment to implement the women, peace and security agenda in its entirety. Canada's commitment to a feminist foreign policy is rooted in the belief that when women and girls are equal to men and boys, our world becomes more just, more prosperous, more peaceful, and more secure for all. Political, economic, and social barriers for women and girls are already pervasive. These barriers are exacerbated and even intentionally exploited in times of conflict. Women and girls suffer disproportionately in conflict settings and yet remain almost entirely excluded from the processes that build peace. Canada's feminist foreign policy makes women a priority in all of our security-related activities. We seek to increase the participation of women in peace building and peacekeeping and to provide a solid foundation of conflict prevention and recovery. Where women are included in peace processes, peace lasts longer. When peacekeeping talks break off, if women are at the table, the talks have a much better chance of resuming. When women and girls are safe, entire communities are safer, poverty decreases, and development opportunities increase. Studies show that the security of women and girls is one of the best predictors of a state's state of peace. Madam Speaker, Canada has been a leader in advancing and implementing the Women, Peace and Security Agenda, which was created when Canada was last on the UN Security Council in 2000. At that time, our allies relied upon and deeply appreciated our leadership. And since then, more than 60 other countries have developed their own national action plans. Unfortunately, the previous government abandoned the Women, Peace and Security agenda, and non-governmental organizations in Canada were left to do their best for a decade. And I would like to salute them for their perseverance with little to no support whatsoever. As Parliamentary Secretary to the Minister of Foreign Affairs, I've been privileged to help advance women, peace and security from the moment we formed government. As previous parliamentary secretaries to the Minister of International Development, my colleagues from Burlington and Whitby have also led this initiative, as has our colleague, the member from Laurier Ste. Marie, on the Foreign Affairs Committee. And of course, the member from Ottawa West Nepean has been a constant champion of the UN Security Council Resolution 1325, which reaffirms the important and consequential role in women's engagement in preventing and resolving conflicts, in peace operations, in humanitarian response, in post-conflict reconstruction, and in counter-terrorism and countering violent extremism. When we formed government, the Standing Committee on Foreign Affairs and International Development undertook a study on women, peace and security straight away. I'd like to thank Canadian leaders like Beth Waraniuk from Match International and Diana Sarosi from Oxfam, who remained strong advocates through their volunteer roles at Canada's Women, Peace and Security Network. They have been stalwart and steadfast in their faith that the government would once again lead on women, peace and security. Margot Wallström, Sweden's foreign minister, said at the UN this past week, quote, "No woman needs to be given a voice. Everyone has a voice. What is needed is more listening." Minister Wallström is a strong supporter of our government's commitment to gender equality that is so central to our diplomatic, trade, development and security priorities. We are listening to women. We are championing the rights of women and girls in the work we do on behalf of Canadians. Madam Speaker, the Women, Peace and Security agenda is at the heart of Canada's feminist foreign policy. Exactly 1 year ago, our government made a renewed commitment to implement the full breadth of the Women, Peace and Security agenda through launching Canada's second National Action Plan, which will cover the years 2017 to 2022. 9 federal departments are responsible for its implementation. The new plan is informed by the expertise of civil society and establishes an advisory group comprised of civil society and government experts to guide us. It is ambitious. It is led by Global Affairs, the RCMP, and the Department of National Defense, and supported by the Status of Women, Immigration, Refugees and Citizenship, Public Safety, and the Department of Justice. Our plan has won accolades from experts and stakeholders at home and abroad. Recently, Crown Indigenous Relations and Northern Affairs Canada and Indigenous Services Canada have also become implementing partners so that we can apply the women, peace and security approach to violence and discrimination faced by Indigenous women, girls and Two-Spirit people in Canada. We're holding ourselves accountable. The first annual progress report recently tabled in the House reflects that we are on track, or mostly on track, to reach our objectives. We are fostering partnerships to be more effective in the pursuit of peace. Canada launched the ELSI initiative for women in peace operations to increase the meaningful participation of uniformed women in UN peace operations. To this end, Canada is establishing partnerships with the Armed Forces of Ghana and the Police Service of Zambia. Through the Women's Voice and Leadership Initiative, Canada is supporting local grassroots women's rights organizations. The new Gender Equality Partnership with philanthropists and the private sector will bring new investment in support of women's rights. We recognize that women's grassroots organizations must be directly funded and directly involved to be successful. Madam Speaker, addressing the challenges inherent in the Women, Peace and Security agenda is a long-term commitment. A Canadian ambassador for women, peace and security is a vital aspect of our Women, Peace and Security agenda in Canada, as announced by the Minister of Foreign Affairs at the Women Foreign Ministers meeting in Montreal in September of this year. Civil society has been clear in its recommendation to the Canadian government to establish the role of a high-level champion. We have heard these requests loud and clear. Numerous studies show that when women participate in peace and security, when women and girls are empowered, when gender equality is recognized and employed as a source of strength, personal security, and the security of communities and countries is improved. The appointment of an ambassador for women, peace and security is an important step for Canada and for the world. It represents a strong, positive response to the good work of the Foreign Affairs and International Development Committee and to civil society, and I'm very proud to be standing in the House today in full support. Thank you, Madam Speaker.